Always good to have Eddie George on, Fox Sports college football analyst, and of course the former Heisman Trophy winner. Let me start with. I'll ask you about the lawsuit first. Were you involved in the NFL lawsuit on concussions, Eddie?
I was not involved. But I was very aware of it going on. I was asked to be a part of it. I think last year, got advised, and I made the decision not to be a part of it. And I had my reasons for not doing it. However, looking at the settlement and looking at all the particulars around it, from what I know, it just appears to me that for both sides, I think that the owners felt comfortable with the number that they was willing to settle with, and from the player side, it appears that it was a number issue as well. Because if you really look at it, Dan, it's was it the motive from the player side finding a real solution to concussions, or is it about receiving the money? Because if you have symptoms as a player and you're going through issues with the post-career and then you're having issues with concussions, what is the money going to solve? What is $100,000 going to solve for you? I mean, is it going to provide the care? Are you going to get are you going to find solutions to your problems? So that's what kind of bothered me about the whole situation is what is the motive, the real motive behind it? Because there are some players out there, quite frankly, that could be playing the game of just trying to get money. And when the real need needs to go toward the research of finding solutions to save lives, if it is in fact an issue. So that's why I was kind of hesitant on doing it. Is it a money play, or is it really trying to find the research and find solutions for these concussions?
But Eddie, no player in NFL history had more 300-plus carry seasons in the history of the game than you. I mean, you had, I think, 7 or 8 seasons where you had at least 300 carries. I mean, just sheer attrition of getting hit. How concerned are you about, what's life's going to be like when you're 60?
Well, I always think about that, and that's why being in this position, I want solutions. If I do have issues, and when I'm 60, what can I do about it? It's not about the game. Yeah, I chose to play a game, but I can't be mad at the sport. I mean, I knew what the repercussions were when I played it. I loved the game when I was a baby. But what can I do about it when I'm 60? I mean, that's where I think that the attention needs to be put. Not on the fact that I just get a dollar amount. I mean, yeah, okay, I may get $100,000. That may last me 5 or 6 months for paying bills or for medical reasons. But is it quality? Are we putting the money toward the quality of getting the proper research and the proper solutions for this? So that's where I feel, and I feel like as far as the owners are concerned, they don't want to disclose the information of when they knew, how long they knew, and really interview and probe their doctors. And now that's shut down. So it's a settlement. It is what it is at this point, and I don't see a winner for the players at all.
No, I don't either.
Because it's not a win at all. Because you're getting the money, but it's not about the money. It's about really the research and the intention behind it. It's really trying to go toward the quality and the health care of our former players and really getting to a bottom line of it. And it's just really the owners protecting the business.
He's Eddie George from Fox Sports, former Heisman winner, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Sometimes you want the night to yourself or the day to yourself if you're a Heisman Trophy candidate. Jadeveon Clowney certainly had that last night. And I think sometimes we're quick to build these kids up, quick to tear them down when we don't see immediate results. With Clowney in South Carolina last night, he didn't look great. He looked gassed. But
at times, though.
What?
At times.
Yeah.
I mean, at times. I mean, listen. In the beginning of the game, he was all over the place, and I can speak to that because he was excited, wanted to show the world what he can do, and he was pressing a little bit. And he did not have a bad game. People are looking at the fact that he was gassed. Yeah, he was. It was 98 degrees outside, okay, in August, playing up against an up-tempo offense where you don't have 15 seconds to play. If anyone that played the game understands that, you're going to get tired. He's a human being. He's not superhuman that we're all making him out to be, where he's going to run around for 4 quarters and make these superhuman plays. So give the kid a break. He did not have a bad game, in my opinion. And they're saying he plays off. He couldn't run. So it's difficult to run around in a hot, thick summer in humidity and make these plays. So I disagree. I watched most of the game, and he was a factor in most parts. He made a couple of tackles there. You got to put into the fact that he also was being double teamed and triple teamed, so he garnered a lot of attention.
Yep.
So I didn't have a problem with that. I think he's going to be fine. He's still the number one pick. He's still the best player in the country in my mind.
USC with 2 quarterbacks. You can survive Hawaii. How long can you survive?
Well, Dan, I watched the first half of that game, and I thought for sure that Pat Hayden, AD for USC, was going to tell Lane Kiffin not to take the flight home back to USC. I mean, it was that bad in the beginning.
Yikes.
They have some time to figure things out from that perspective, but I don't think I've seen a USC team that disinterested in playing in a game since last year, and that's a problem. But it's going to be interesting to figure out how they get it done. They fought from behind, and they figured out the way to win the game last night, but it was not a pretty showing at all in the first half.
If I gave you Alabama or the field?
Say it again, Dan?
If I gave you Alabama or the field, who would you take?
Ooh, I would take Alabama. You know what, Dan? This team is probably, I'm going to say this, that this is the best Nick Saban team that he's had. You'll see this coming up year because they have an offense that can be extremely explosive. They broke a lot of school records last year offensively,
yeah.
But this year is going to be a different level. And I think the biggest reason for that will be T.J. Yeldon. He is the best complete running back in the country. Out the backfield, he's going to be a problem for opposing defenses, not as just a running back, but as a receiver. And they have 4 or 5 wide receivers that they can rely on, so they can go in up-tempo offense. And I expect them to do a lot of that, of the up-tempo, 5 wide, stretch the field, putting pressure on the defense offense. And they can also play, in a telephone booth where it's physical and there's nothing but iron fist.
Yeah, but you're not taking your Buckeyes? Your Buckeyes couldn't hold up there?
Hold on, wait. Listen, I'm saying this, on any given night, that it can happen. Okay, this is his best team, but they can be beat on any given night. So I like Ohio State and Alabama to play in the national championship game.
You can see Eddie George. You guys got, I don't know how many, triple header coming up on Saturday on Fox Sports 1 at noon Eastern. Bill and Mary at West Virginia, Nicholls State at Oregon, Boise State at Washington. You got K-State taking on North Dakota. That'll be coming up tonight on Fox Sports 1. I don't know how much money you could have made at Ohio State. We know how that fan base is. But the reason why I bring this up, Johnny Manziel or A.J. McCarron or Jadeveon Clowney, if they wanted to make money locally and you have somebody there who's your money guy, how much money do you think you could have made at Ohio State just going to different events, signing memorabilia, taking advantage of your likeness like Johnny Manziel did?
I want to go ahead and say close to $100,000 to $150,000.
Oh, I bet you could have made more than that, Ed.
I'm mistaken. Just based off of signings and how much they go for the rate and everything else. I'm just going to say that. I mean, here's why. I mean, they could possibly make $500,000. I don't know, but I think it opens up the conversation of why can't these kids go out here and make that money? And this is why the NCAA is under fire with the commissioners of the conferences, and it needs to be reformed. They need to figure this out because it's going to happen. So why not look at the fact that, okay, how can we structure this in a way where these kids can use their likeness or get paid for their likeness while they're in school because we can't get jobs, they can't have jobs. So it's tough to really have a quality of life and take advantage of that. So everybody wins here. So really, at this point, it's a disservice from the NCAA side to not really open it up and talk about this and structure it a way where these kids can live a full life.
Would you hold it against Johnny Manziel of what he did when it comes to your Heisman vote? If he was worthy again, would that factor into your vote?
No, it wouldn't.
Okay.
No, because he didn't accept any money. He, from what we're told, all I know, and I have to take the kid's word for it. Now, if it comes out that he did take money, and later down the line, then you deal with it then. But I'm more concerned about what I see on the field, the product that he displays in the field. And I think he's a fantastic talent. He's exciting. One of the greatest players to ever play the game as a freshman. So that's the only thing that I'm concerned with as a voter.
Good to visit with you, Eddie. By the way, where is that Heisman Trophy?
Man, my Heisman Trophy is in my trophy case right next to my golf award that I won for shooting a nice. Listen, I think about the time when we played
Eddie,
golf years ago. I know it was horrible, but I've gotten lessons since then. And I tell you what, my 56-degree wedge is in. I am lethal with that.
Okay, but
I'm
Eddie,
awesome.
Okay, Eddie, I wasn't going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring up the golf, but we played with, it was you and me, Cordell Stewart. Cordell played really well. Eddie couldn't understand that a skinny guy like me could hit it further than in. Eddie's so jacked up, and he gets on. You could not process that, could you?
No, I couldn't. That was the time. But now I've got a little older, got some lessons. I got to redeem myself.
There you go.
We got to make a date, man. We got to get out there on the course.
All right,
come to
you know what?
Come to me, it doesn't matter.
All right, I'll put up my sports Emmy for your Heisman, and it's winner take all.
Oh, there we go. That was sharp. I want that sports Emmy. I want you to sign it too, Dan.
All right. Thank you, Eddie. Good to talk to you, man.
All right, boss. Let's
All
talk
right,
to you.
Eddie George.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.